I go by the name of Jaffe Joe, and this is my show. Call it how I see it. And you know exactly why I'm here. Hmm. Well, it's been about 24 hours since I saw the sorry ass Phillies lose in the game 7 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hmm. I'm just going to get right into it. Red October, it's over. It's done. And to lose in this type of fashion, in this type of light, it hurts. It hurts so much. When I'm that stupid idiot, right? Spending all my summer and spring watching the Phillies getting excited from all these comeback wins and all this great stuff that they did all year. All for this to happen, fall on their face in this type of manner. I'll be honest, this hurts to the point. It's just another Philly heartbreak from another freaking sorry ass team. I had to watch the Sixers earlier this year do the same exact thing, and it hurts. I'm tired of being hurt. Why do I keep putting myself through this situation where I have to watch my team get beat in this type of fashion? It was the Phillies' first game 7 ever, and in this case, I hope it's never, ever again in a situation where they put themselves in a game 7 if they're going to ever play like this again, because it's just a sorry ass team that did not show up, and they're complaining, and they're just not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not finishing the job. From their players to the coaching, it's just a big, big mess. Honestly, I'm tired of the heartbreak. I am. This is like, to me, is like a relationship, honestly. All the time, all the energy, all the investment that I put into this season to end in this type of fashion. The highest of the highs, and now this is the lowest of the low. To watch things go down like this, it just hurts. It sucks. It's heartbreaking, honestly. It's just like a bad relationship, honestly. But don't worry, I'll be watching next year like the fool that I am. I'll put in that time and effort and then get disappointed again. What good could I take from this season? I don't know. Well, there is a lot of good I can take from this season. And the good is that, they fought. They have a core, and they also have players that just need to step up in the right way. This home run ball game, there wasn't enough home runs over there. There wasn't any home runs to be hit in the last 2 games when they really needed it, other than Alec Baum and a couple other shots that happened in Game 6. But really, in general, it didn't happen. And really, in general, what do you do from this? How do you try to construct a better team and you end up in this situation where your better team doesn't even make it to the World Series and doesn't really hit the plateau that you wanted to hit. And it's very, very disappointing, honestly. I can't explain it. You got beat by a rookie with a funny name who had a 5.72 ERA this season. Honestly, why? The kid looked nervous on the mound, and he still handled his business. From Kyle Schwarber, who did get a hit, a double, but it amounted to nothing because you know why? He got stranded on base. It was a reoccurring theme that happened all year. Runners in scoring position, and our inability to bring them around the base, to let their foot hit home base. It's sad. But what's really sad is when you have Kyle Schwarber, you have Trey Turner, who you put back in the lineup because he had a great year. After August 4th, it was a great year. And then you have Bryce Harper. And then you even had Nick Castellanos in the bottom part of the lineup who was on fire, raking it against the Braves. Even hit a home run in the first game of this series, and we're like, wow. But what happened? All that fire that these guys had, it went out. And those two games, Game 6 and Game 7, these guys combined for they were 1 for 28 with runners in scoring position. And it's just crazy because if you add up all this contract and value and everything between these four players, that's $875 million for four players. This is some Saudi money, this is some curd Saudi money shit. Thank God this league isn't over there because this would have a big backlash. A lot of people are angry. People are so angry they're throwing trash at Jose Alvarado as he's walking out of the stadium, which is wrong and gives a bad name for us Philly fans. But I really don't know what to make of this. It's just another heartbreaking situation. And honestly, when it comes down to it, the Phillies in this situation, they played this like a 5-game series. It was a 7-game series. And that's why when you put your foot on another team's neck, you fucking choke them out. You have to. Otherwise, you end up in a situation like this with your hands on your head like, what happened? This happened. Is this a wake-up call? It could be. There could be a lot of change coming from a managerial perspective. I think Rob Thompson, who is a good coach, don't get me wrong, the players love him, but maybe his lax ways and his way of not ruling with an iron fist, not being boisterous, might have cost him, honestly. Maybe not. Because there is managers out there with that type of style, and they have success. I'm not saying this season wasn't a success, but we did have higher aspirations. And compared to last year and our team this year, we had higher expectations. There should have been a parade. I was happy. I was excited after this Braves. I thought there was no way. When they told us the Diamondbacks, I said, bet. But wow, to lose in this type of fashion, it's just a big kick in the balls, honestly. And to be frank, I have to give them credit. I do. As much as I don't want to, we did beat ourselves, especially in Game 4. We should have won that game. We should have won this in 5 games. This should have been a 5-game series, just like how we set this up. But it didn't work out that way. And just like in the World Series, we lost 2 back-to-back games at home. And it's inexcusable. It leaves a really bad taste in your mouth. And honestly, I don't want to hear anything about any baseball. I don't want to hear about the World Series. Be honest with you, a Texas and Arizona, that doesn't really interest me, honestly. I'm not paying attention to that. I'm not. I'll be focused on the NBA. I'll be focusing on hockey. I don't want to watch this World Series. It's garbage. If there's some type of script out there that has this set up, you fucked up. Because honestly, who wants to watch this? Nobody. Oh, the real baseball fans want to watch this? No. Nobody wants to watch this. I'm sorry. It's boring. You'll see it in the ratings. It's boring. You'll see that these championship series had better ratings. You'll see that. But if we're talking about numbers and money, Vegas wins. The favorites lost. They win. They rake. That's what it's looking like. Am I wrong? Honestly. But I want to shed back light to Rob Thompson. You, sir, got outcoached. While the other team was losing and making adjustments, Lovullo, he made his adjustments. He had 12 players ready. He had Alek Thomas. He had the ginger Pavin Smith. He even had that guy without a mustache, Rivera, playing third base. These guys were ready. They were ready to contribute in their own ways, and they did. And they were deep enough where it affected us to the point where our regular 10, our regular bullpen, it wore out. It fizzled out. All that. They beat us at our own game with Corbin Carroll running around the bases. What happened? They beat us at our own game. We were doing that. We were doing that against the Braves. And honestly, if the Braves would have beat us, the Braves would be in the World Series. Let's be real. Let's really be real. Sorry ass team. I still can't believe it. 24 hours later, and I still can't believe this happened. This is going to resonate with me up until March. Honestly. They need to make some moves. They need to realize who really needs to be on this team. Because I love Nick. I even ordered his jersey. And now I feel like a dumbass. For what? Is he even going to be on this team anymore? It's just like everything that's happened during the regular season came to light here. And you know what? They weren't a championship team. They weren't. But I don't think the Diamondbacks are either. I don't. I think this smells like a Texas Rangers 4-1 World Series win that I won't be watching. Not because we lost, because the Diamondbacks really aren't that great. Other than Ketel Marte and the Rookie of the Year, Corbin Carroll, and Alek Thomas, I want to stick flags into the fucking ground. Fuck you guys. Honestly. You guys aren't that great. You're not. Because I swear if it was the Braves, you guys would have lost. But it didn't happen that way. We did the dirty work and then we lost like a bunch of sorry losers. It's pathetic. But honestly, to the fans of Philadelphia that's throwing trash at Jose Alvarado and saying a bunch of other things to the players, grow the fuck up. Especially if you were the guys that are waiting around for these guys to leave and doing that shit, grow the fuck up. Honestly. Do better. This situation sucks. It stinks. And of course, in regular Philly fashion, we handle it the way we do. I'm just very disappointed. I can't say this enough. And to be honest, I'm not back to Rob Thompson. Like I said, I love the guy. And if he comes back, I'll be okay with that. I will. Because you know why? He's bringing us to points that other managers haven't brought us to. Yeah, he's not picture perfect, but also he's not the one hitting the ball. You have to hit the ball, especially when your 4 top players are making almost $900 million and you're not hitting the ball. Let's be real. Let's be real. It's crazy and it's frustrating. And I guess I'm ready to move on. It's just a sport. It's just a game, right? But it means a lot because it unifies a lot of people together. There's a lot of good times with this. And to end like this on this note just leaves such a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. We're a laughingstock. We got humiliated in our own house. That whole advantage of everything, the Citizens Bank crowd and everything, that did not matter. Us in a hitter's ballpark, it did not matter. It didn't. And now we are where we are. Red October is over, and let's be real. Some people need to go. They need to fix different pieces and really figure out this. I agree that the core is here. We can be like a Houston Astros type of team and just stick around for years, and then maybe that one year or that other year we'll be able to win the World Series. But overall, in general, they did not execute. They did not do their job. And now, this is why we are not playing in the World Series. And like I said, if certain players don't come back, we really need to really evaluate who needs to be here. Does Aaron Nola really need to be here? Because what I saw in Game 6, I saw the Aaron Nola that was giving up home runs in that same stadium in the regular season. For 4 games, he pitched lights out, even including back into the end of the regular season. But he's still shaky. He's older. And there's times where his curveball isn't curving. And his pitches aren't hitting the mark. It's just... to throw money around. I'm not the owner. If he wants to pay for that, go right ahead. But overall, are you really investing in the right players? I think there's other pieces out there that you can make this work better and make a better puzzle out of this. However, it will take time, and we'll really find out who's who and what's what. Because honestly, this is a sorry ass team. Sorry ass team. Hey, I'm back. I really had to get all that off my chest. But now I want to dive into another sorry ass team that I really love, and that is the 76ers. The NBA season is in effect. There's some games going on as I speak right now. But I want to go into detail about the team that I root for and the team that caused me more heartbreak at the beginning of the year, and that is the 76ers. A lot has changed. Doc Rivers isn't there anymore. James Harden is kind of there, and he's kind of not. And this isn't a surprise. He's a Cancer. I was expecting this. The timetable about this happening in terms of his prior situations and prior teams that he's played for is right on point. He messed up the Brooklyn Nets. Not entirely, but he had a big hand in that. But overall, we are where we are because of him, or is it because of him? Let's ponder this a little bit more. Who is making the decisions? Who is the president of basketball operations for the Philadelphia Sixers? That is a clown by the name of Daryl Morey, a longtime buddy of James Harden. Daryl Morey plays the buddy system. He plays the buddy system because nobody wants to be his buddy. Nobody wants to be a new buddy for him. He, and like James Harden, makes a lot of rash decisions. I think he's putting the Sixers in a situation where they used to be a franchise where a lot of players would love to come to. But under his regime, I believe a lot of that has taken a step back. I think his empty promises and his philosophy even for the game of basketball doesn't work. He's been preaching this whole fast-paced shoot the three and perimeter defense bullshit for the last since 2009 2010, I don't know. He's been around. He's been a clown. He was with the Rockets, and now he's with us, unfortunately. And personally, for us, I kind of wish we would have kept Elton Brand. I know Elton Brand made some bonehead moves and let Jimmy Butler walk, and we're stuck with this Tobias Harris contract that's really, at least it's on the last year of his contract. But Daryl Morey, ever since he's taken the reins, is only kind of, he hasn't gotten us over the hill. He hasn't got us to that next level. And I only blame Josh Harris in that aspect because Josh Harris is the man that hired him and put this man in control and power. But overall, Daryl Morey thought it was a great idea to bring his old buddy James Harden back to play for him. And so far, has that worked out? In retrospect, the first year since it was half, no, but last year there was a lot of good. James Harden led the league in assists, still averaged over 20 points. His numbers are definitely down in terms of scoring, which I think affected him in a way where it stroked his ego to the point to he wants to challenge that again. I think that's also a big part of the reason why he's not in Houston right now because of his way of how he talked to current Houston Rockets head coach Ime Udoka about his goals and expectations if he was to join the Houston Rockets, and that's why I believe they gave Fred VanVleet the bag instead because he fits more what they're trying to do with their young core and not have some idiot chucking up shots and trying to put up numbers and forcing the issue. Instead, they're trying to really build a team. And I'm not I'm not really a big James Harden fan. I never really was. I don't think he's a winner. His work ethic speaks for itself. Personally, from my understanding from reports and stories that have come out about him, he is a degenerate. He basically puts his money on fire and asks for more money to put on fire. And personally, I think he's just a big clown. I never really liked him, and I never thought we were going to win a championship with him here. And now, since he's forcing the issue of trying to go to the Clippers aren't really going out of their way to pull out a rug and bring him in. I think there was an opportunity where Daryl Morey could have pulled the trigger and made a deal for Terrence Mann, who he's trying to get now, and get the first round picks. But I don't think that's going to happen now. I think that ship has sailed. And I think Daryl Morey in this whole situation of handling James Harden has done a very poor job. He added more tension to conflict by signing Kelly Oubre to the Sixers squad, who I like and I think can be a fit, but I only think it only fits if James Harden isn't here because personally there is friction there. There's a whole story about him and Oubre. Oubre, taking his then girlfriend at the time during a COVID party and dating her, basically stealing her from James Harden and even having two children with her. I think that would cause a lot of conflict. But Daryl Morey doesn't care about that. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, he already has in his head that he's trying to move James Harden. However, they're both in the same locker room together. And as of today, they have a game tomorrow while everybody else is playing. They have a game tomorrow against Milwaukee. And they told this guy, even though he showed up, even though he hasn't showed up the past week, because he's really at Brigada, taking markers out, gambling, making dealers do stupid things. He's just a weirdo. Minus all the weird stuff that James Harden does. He tried to pull up today at the Sixers facility in Camden and hop on the flight with them, and they told him to stay. Which, in general, I think was the right move. Because if you let him come with you on this trip, you're giving him power and you're letting him dictate narrative of this story. And if you, as Daryl Morey or even Nick Nurse, know what's best for this team, I think you let him stay away. You force the issue, you fine him, you take all that money, you make him suffer, you make him squirm. Because, quite frankly, he deserves that. What he does, he's a total cancer. The roots of his cancer, his mutating nature of his cancer, has poisoned this team. It's become a big distraction. And even when he's gone, this season will be leveled at a level where what if he was still a Sixer? And what if him and Joel could have made things work? However, I don't think I don't think he's the focal point of this team. I don't even think Joel Embiid is the focal point of this team. I think this 23 and 24 season should be the Tyrese Maxey year. Tyrese Maxey should get the keys to this Ferrari. Well, it ain't a Ferrari, whatever kind of car it is, maybe. some type of car, luxury car. Not the best, but it could work. However, it is based on Mr. Maxey and how he develops. He's grown each year. I think we've all seen it, and he's very well respected around the NBA. I do believe that Tyrese can take that next step and become an all star this year. I think he can become a superstar, and I think he has a lot in his bag where he's going to put the league on notice. I don't think he's going to take the team from Joel yet. I do think that both of them, though, can feed off of each other. And I think there's going to be big moments where Maxey does step up in ways that James Harden couldn't do, especially last year in the playoffs. Yeah, you had your two 40-point games, but two games in a 7-game series, what does that equal to? It equaled us to another 3-2 loss. We lost. We were up 3-2 and we lost to a team that even just got better. James Harden needs to get out of here. Personally, I think James, if you really knew what was best for you, you go to China, just like Stephon Marbury. Make your money over there. Be treated like the king that you were when you visited them for your Adidas trip back in the summertime. Go do that, man. Go be over there and be praised and looked at the way you want to be looked at. Because honestly, in this country, most of the teams over here, we ain't feeling you, bro. We're not. The Clippers don't want you. Nobody else in the NBA really wants you on their roster, especially for what you're asking for in terms of a payday. I think you're a clown, and honestly, um, you're just a cancer. But in general, I blame this whole situation on Daryl Morey because he is a bigger clown. I think that his analytic and style of and philosophies of basketball with you at the center front was going to win a title or even be in the contention of a championship. I'm tired of watching us lose in the Eastern Conference semifinals. I want to see us at least make it to the Eastern Conference finals. I would love to see us in the finals, but that seems so far fetched now. It's like a hope and a prayer. But the worst thing about this is if Maxey does indeed become an all star and a superstar and really puts the league on notice, it's going to make Daryl Morey look smart. And he doesn't deserve that credit. Because this kid works hard. This kid does what he needs to do to get better as a player. And if he does, you're going to reap the benefits of it. And quite personally, you don't deserve that. And quite frankly, that $200 million contract, you need to give it to Maxey. You let Tobias walk, you let that cap room space up, and you give it to Tyrese Maxey. You do not let this kid walk. Don't. It'd be the most foolish move you ever make. It will be. And in general, this whole Joel Embiid situation, coming off an MVP year, it's crazy. I know the Knicks are hot knocking at the door. The Heat are always in the rearview mirror. But in terms of assets, I don't think the Heat could even touch or even put a deal on paper. That's why they didn't end up with Damian Lillard. They don't really have any assets anymore. No one's really interested in playing down there. Maybe playing with Jimmy Butler. But overall, I mean, if we really look at it, the Heat are probably going to be in the play-in game again. They're going to be in the play-in tournament, trying to scrap for another playoff run. And for what? Is that really what Joel wants to go to? I don't think so. They need to groom players and work inside, and that takes time. They make it work, they do. I won't lie, but that takes time. And in general, I'm not saying the Sixers are in a win now situation, but if they do win, I think there could be moves made that would benefit the Sixers. I do wish that this Harden deal was already done, but unfortunately, as long as he is still under contract and gets a paycheck from us, which we end up taking away from him anyway, I think that that cloud will loom over our head and become a big dramatic situation that we have to deal with all year until he's really gone. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. Um, I still love this team, and I'll be tuning in. I did order a Tyrese Maxey jersey. I'm waiting for that to come in. I think I think there's a realistic possibility that Tyrese could average 25 to 26 points a game. Assists will go up, and my boy can shoot. He is the real deal. Um, Joel probably stay in the 30 range. I don't think Joel will ever win another MVP. I think it's always gonna be an asterisk just because of what Jokic did last year. But maybe who knows? Maybe he does have a chip on his shoulder and he can prove it and take his game to another level too. So we'll see. Um, in terms of depth, I mean, we re-signed Danny Green. I like I said, I do like the Kelly Oubre signing, but with James Harden there, I don't know how that works. Um, I mean, we signed some other guys that really don't matter. Mobamba doesn't really matter. They let Montrezl Harrell go. Didn't really matter. I think it is going to be crucial for Paul Reed. Paul Reed could find his own style and niche in this offensive system with Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse does have a lot of positive things to say about Paul Reed. We'll see how that goes. I do believe in B-ball Paul. There's a lot of potential in that young man if coached the right way and used the right way. I do like DeAnthony Milton, even though he kind of came up really flat against the Celtics. I just, I don't know. I want to see people show up because there's a lot of people not showing up when it really mattered last year, and you get paid to do this. You need to do your job and execute at the end of the day, no matter what it is, no matter the odds, no matter the situation, no matter the obstacles ahead of you. You need to come into work and do your job. Even if it's the playoffs, even if it's game two in the NBA season, you need to come in and do your job. Simple as that. So I'm really eager to see what's gonna happen this year. I'll be happy. I'll be happy either way if we don't get what we really bargained for with the James Harden deal. Honestly, because personally, the more he stays here, the more his cancer spreads throughout this team and becomes a big distraction. He's not no help to the team. He's not. Even if he suits up and plays just for his own benefit to get traded and showcase his skills to other teams, it doesn't benefit us. It doesn't. And each day that he stays on the Sixers only hurts the Sixers. And Daryl Morey's a clown. And personally, he's dropped the ball numerous times. And because of his nature of being a clown, it's affecting us. And I also believe that each day that passes that he is the president of basketball operations with the Sixers. It only hurts the Sixers, but he is under contract, and I don't expect anyone stepping in and taking his job at the moment. So it's something we're going to have to deal with this year. And he's really banking on Tyrese Maxey to save his job. That's really what it comes down to. Other than that, fuck you, Daryl Morey. Fuck you, James Harden. And go Sixers.